Okay. Hello, everyone. Virginia McClain here to read Victoria Marmot and the Meddling Goddess, Chapter 8. This is the re-recorded version, as the version I recorded last week included the sound of my microphone rubbing against the zipper of my vest repeatedly, which was incredibly annoying, and I apologize if you've already watched that version. So, this is the new version, hopefully absent of any sounds like that. So, when last we left our hero, she had tried to confront the wolf that was following her by running at it to chase it away. That didn't work. But then when she asked nicely, that did work. And we are picking up where I left off with that right now. So, Chapter 8. That night, I was exhausted. Pants-shittingly eerie wolves aside, it had been a weird day, no matter how you cut it. I had been ready to collapse into bed as soon as I got home, especially after the night I'd had previously, full of crazy narrators and bomb drops about my parents' deaths, but I decided to be a responsible, not quite adult, and microwave myself some leftover Chinese food before showering and collapsing into bed with a good book. Luckily, none of my classes had assigned much in the way of homework, seemingly wanting to ease students into the transition from summer. I'd have to give an oral account of everything I'd done over summer vacation in Spanish tomorrow, but since I'd grown up speaking Spanish with my father anyway, I didn't really feel the need to prepare. I wasn't sure what time it was when I finally drifted off to sleep, several chapters into the latest 20-sided sorceress book, but I was disconcerted to find the lights turned out when I woke up a few hours later. I didn't remember turning them off, nor did I remember leaving the window open, but the breeze that caressed my face definitely brought with it the smell of pine needles and fresh earth, and those were not smells that originated inside of my air conditioning unit. I casually reached for the bedside lamp with one hand, all the while sliding my other hand under the pillow to grasp for the cell phone I vaguely recalled shoving under there after spending more time than I'd actually wanted to checking social media before starting to read. At the same moment that my left hand turned on the bedside light, my right hand connected with my cell phone. The light blinded me briefly, even though I'd closed my eyes as it came on. But soon I was able to see a dark figure standing on the far side of the room. "Step in closer and I'll call the cops," I said, brandishing my cell phone. Of course, I'd already hit speed dial for the police dispatch, but whoever the fuck was standing inside of my room didn't need to know that just yet. "I'm sorry, Victoria," said a vaguely familiar voice, as the figure stepped out of the shadows. "I didn't mean to startle you." My jaw dropped as Edic stepped into the light of the lamp. "What in the name of 10 kinds of hell are you doing in my bedroom?" I shouted. The small, closed-mouthed smile that had been gracing Edic's lip fell, and his eyebrows raised in confusion. "I just came to watch you sleep," he said. "What the fuck do you mean you came to watch me sleep? That is the creepiest goddamn thing I've ever heard. Get out of my house, you fucking perv." Edic looked as though I had slapped him, but I wasn't about to be deterred. "Seriously, get out of my house before the cops get here," I said as he took a step closer. "You called the cops?" he asked, looking for all the world like a stricken puppy. "Yes, I called the cops. There's a strange man in my bedroom." I have to admit I was partially yelling to make sure that whoever was listening over dispatch heard what I was saying. I had to hope that the GPS chip in my phone would give them my location. "But it's just me. Surely you don't need them to come now." "Edic, did I say or do anything today that made you think I wanted you to visit me at all, let alone in my bedroom?" "No, not exactly. But can't you feel it, Victoria? Don't you feel the connection between us?" "No, Edic, I do not. I feel no connection. All I know is that you're a very attractive but probably sociopathic classmate who has shown up uninvited to my house. Not only to my house, but into my freaking bedroom. After, let's not forget, showing up to my swim practice butt naked and swimming underneath me like some kind of psychotic seal. Now, I'm going to ask you one more time to get the fuck out of my house." I was beginning to feel that Edic might be a little bit slow, as he persisted in not walking away from me. even though I could hear sirens in the distance already. But you're supposed to be the one who understands me, the one who's finally able to love me despite my being a monster. The way his lips pouted as he said that last part really made me want to hit him. So far, he seemed like he was a fucking monster. After all, who the hell else do you call someone who breaks into your house at night to watch you sleep and then doesn't leave even after you call the cops? Get out of my house! Instead of doing as I asked, the asshole insisted on stepping even closer to the bed, and I finally decided to stand up and back away, lest he try to pin me down. This appeared to have been a mistake, as he covered the distance between us so fast I couldn't even track it, and then had me pinned to the wall. His body pressed against mine, and his arms pushed my shoulders back. At least I was standing upright. Do you have any idea how your smell drives me to distraction? He asked, face buried in my hair, winning the award for creepiest shit ever said to me in my entire life. No, and you have one more second to back away from me before I will be forced to kick your ass, I said, with more confidence than I actually felt. Edic was a good 6 inches taller than I was, and he had at least 50 pounds on me, if I was any judge of muscle mass. But I was banking that he had never been taught how to fight, especially after how quickly he'd backed down at the pool earlier. Victoria, His second was up. I'd really only given it to him to gather my own courage, not because he deserved any sort of second chance. I stepped hard on his instep and buckled his arms at the elbow with simultaneous strikes from my forearms, then reached forward to grab the back of his head and pulled his nose down to meet my forehead. Even as I did this, my knee rammed up into his crotch as hard as it could. Edic collapsed into a pile on the floor, just as I'd hoped, but I felt like I'd headbutted a tree and slowly braced myself against the wall to hold the dizziness at bay. Just as I sank to the floor with my back to the wall, I heard a rush of footfalls coming up the stairs. Without any announcement, the doors burst open, and a bunch of armed officers in uniform flowed through with their guns raised. I'd never been happier to see a cop, or 7. I was just working on staggering back to my feet when one of the officers crouched down in front of me. Are you all right, miss? The voice caused a faint tremor of recognition to pass through me. I looked into the face and tried to focus my blurring eyes for a moment. Focusing hurt. But through the pain, I had a moment of full recognition, just before my vision started to darken. What are you doing here? I asked the wild-haired redhead in uniform. Shh, she said, holding a finger to my mouth as blackness overtook me. Damn it, Gwen, I muttered, slumping to the floor as consciousness fled. And that is the end of chapter 8. Okay, I have just recorded like 6 chapters in a row because I had to re-record these 2 chapters, and I recorded 4 new chapters, so that is all from me today. And I'm afraid I don't have much energy for banter here, but I do hope you're doing well, and I do hope that these videos are providing some amount of entertainment. And I will see you tomorrow for more chapters. I won't say which ones because it depends on how many of the following chapters you'll get through before I record more. Yeah, take care, everyone. Stay well.